Let's go back to our top story now. A South African photojournalist has allegedly been kidnapped in Syria. Humanitarian group The Gift of the Givers says Shiraaz Mohamed was taken hostage on Tuesday. We're now joined via Skype by Gift of the Givers founder, MTS Suleiman. MTS, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any more clarity on what happened in this matter?
No, all we know is that on his way out on Tuesday, when it was time for him to leave, two of our drivers from the hospital were driving him on a road that our ambulances always use to ferry patients from our hospital to the Turkish border when they are critically injured. And that route has been a very safe route for the last 4 years. At some point, when they passed our second hospital, which is close to the border, two cars sort of overtook and blocked this car that was carrying Shiraaz. They stopped and 6 gunmen got out. They put guns to the heads of the two drivers and said, they looked inside, they saw Shiraaz. They wanted to know if he was a foreigner, if he had a passport, if he was Muslim, and all those questions were answered in the positive. They then blindfolded the two drivers and drove for about an hour. They got to a certain point, stopped the car, removed the blindfolds, and said, "It's fine, you can go now." Not Shiraaz, the two drivers. So the two drivers asked, "Where are we?" So they gave an exact description of where they are. The two drivers asked them, "Who are you?" They said, "We represent a lot of groups in Syria," but I didn't clarify which group. Then the two drivers said, "Please don't harm Shiraaz." They said, "No, we just want to clear some misunderstanding with him." So they asked, "What misunderstanding?" They couldn't give an answer to that. And they said, "Look, it's only a misunderstanding. We need to clear something with him. In 2 days, we will bring him back to your hospital." That's the last we have. And right now, we have teams sending messages all over Syria because we've got a huge reputation in the north of the country. And we are hoping to different leaders we may get some kind of a breakthrough.
Now, a terrorism research expert that we interviewed a short while ago has stressed the importance of your NGO spearheading this process. What are your next steps from now on?
So what are the?
What are your next steps?
Well, the next steps is, we're getting buy-in from all the community, which is not difficult to do. Being there for 4 years already, seeing 13,000 patients a month from all parts of Syria, everybody recognizes us and respects us. So people have already told us from different areas that we are going to do our best to try and find the Shiraaz for you. And they all said, look, it must be a case of mistaken identity or some kind of confusion, because everybody knows the work that you guys do in Syria and that you help the Syrian people unconditionally and neutrally. So we are hoping that somewhere along the line, somebody will make that contact and we will get Shiraaz back.
You mentioned a short while ago that the kidnappers said that they wanted to clear a misunderstanding with Shiraaz. Do you know anything about the assignment that he may have been working on?
No, Shiraaz has always been wanting to go to Syria. And finally, my Turkish office dealt with him directly and said, okay, you can come. And we were actually hosting him. He was going to all the refugee camps. It was now after the evacuation of Aleppo. And he was more interested because he's a photojournalist. And he came to the hospital, he took pictures, he visited refugees, he went to the camps, he went all over Syria. He did his final goodbye at the hospital. And they told him, look, by 5 o'clock, we have to be out. And just before 5, they left. But there was no issue. He got along with everybody. Everybody was fine. There was no conflict with anyone. So we don't know. But look, in a war situation, foreigners are always, viewed with suspicion. Could he be a spy? Is he working for some group? Where does he come from? Why is he here? Those are normal questions in a war situation. But what's confusing is that in the last 4 years since we've been there, there's never been an incident there. And especially in the road so close to the Turkish border. Because the hospital sends ambulances virtually every other day to the border. All the people walking from that border, there is no issue. So we can't understand. We don't know if it's related to another group because they asked 2 more questions. They asked my drivers, can you tell us anything about the Turkish delegation that came to the border? So my driver said, we don't know anything about that. And then they asked, do you know Dr. Ahmed in the hospital? Now, Dr. Ahmed is the manager and the director of the Gift of the Givers Hospital for the last 4 years. They said, of course, who doesn't know Dr. Ahmed? The whole of Syria knows him because he helps everybody. And then they said, okay, we need to clear the misunderstanding, and they left.
Now, you've also been in contact with the family. How are they coping at this stage?
Look, the family I'm not directly in contact with them. I've sent some of my team members to be with them yesterday to explain to them the situation. No, we've been very honest and open with them, step by step. Of course, they're very devastated. They're worried who's holding him and where he's being held. You know, what could happen to him. They know the danger of being in Syria. And some of them said that he had sent out messages a day or two before saying he's very worried, you know, something may happen to him in Syria. But I told them that's standard factors. Anybody who crosses the border into Syria, you start feeling the anxiety because it's tense all over that country. And I said that could be a very normal procedure. And in fact, my director in Turkey told me that while Shiraaz was coming to the border, he sent him an SMS 19 times to say, are you waiting for me on the Turkish side? Are you waiting for me on the Turkish side? So they said, yes, I'm waiting for you on the Turkish side. It's not a problem. And it was at that point, suddenly, which we still don't understand how it could happen at that point, that, you know, they stopped him and took him away. So yes, the family is very devastated, but they know we're doing everything possible to try to find him, you know, safely and no harm to him.
Thank you so much for that. That was Gift of the Givers founder Imtiaz Suleiman bringing us up to speed on kidnapped photojournalist Shiraaz Mohamed.